that in the years that I've worked in prisons, I've always found prison staff fantastically competent. We couldn't have done the work that we've done without all
Is there anything else from the panel? Any other questions anymore?
Well, just to give clarity on the gratuity. The gratuity sometimes, although it helps, it can be so pathetic. Because sometimes you work as a cleaner in the lab and your, shall I call it, monthly gratuity. While I was there, sometimes it started at 8 rand 99 cents. And because I did my audit in prison, and I subsequently became the habit facilitator. So my pay was a little bit better because my pay started at 49 rands a month. And then it goes up by 10 rands a month each and every month until it reaches a threshold of 99 rand. Once it reaches 99 rand, it reaches a full scale. That's how it can happen.
But I think that goes back to prison labor, but aren't you exploiting them? Because that's exploitation. Because what can you do with 95 rand a month?
Well, there are basic things that you need, that you know that you need to buy. 2.5 sugar, canola, and coffee. That's basically it. And the change you buy what we call noodles, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, but if you think about kind of if a male or a breadwinner goes to prison, what about the family? Understand, I'm doing 99 rand, that's actually for yourself. What about the family outside? So they kind of need to develop something where they can make, you know, a profit out of something. Maybe, I don't know if Zippo, I've heard something that Zippo is made within prison. I mean, Zippos they are expensive. And I know each prisoner's code is on the back of the zipper. So if they can kind of develop something like that, where your income is based upon the amount of things you make. Say like you make 20 zippers this month, you get an X amount. So if you work harder, they'll try and, you know, they'll progress. And so if you can kind of develop something like that, maybe something probably in South Africa, where they can take that money, they can support themselves and maybe send some of that money to their family.
I was just thinking, why don't they just provide prisons with coffee tomorrow?
Well, we do have that as part of the ration. But then if you want to have your home, if you want to drink real coffee, then you need to buy something. The standard tea that we are provided with, but if you need something different, then you need to pay for it. I think there is a brilliant idea, and you should also see the art that comes out of prison. Those guys can be very artistic. Some of the art that they do, even the clothes that we wear. You know, when you get into prison, they're provided with prison clothes, and you find that you have got these overalls, you know. And because of the skill that is there in prison, you find that from that overall, the person who's suing can make a chain out of that with the label guest. You know. Those fancy shirts, but the material that is used is the one written in prison corrections. So it was great skill in there, and sometimes I tend to advocate that there are so many skills that should not go to waste, you know, inside prison. So if you can realize that something really can come out of it. You know, prison can be such a secluded, you know, place, but then if we talk about prisons, and if we talk about offenders, and we talk about prisons, then we are most likely to come up with something that will benefit the community as well as the offenders themselves.
Sorry, can I just, on the arts and the skills, when it comes to art, the people can do pottery, they can do painting, they can do sculpturing, it all depends on what their field is. And my previous manager of development and care has made a request to our commissioner to ask that if, like you said, if somebody can make 5 paintings this month and it can be sold for 50 rand each, I'm just citing an example here, that they then deduct basically the material that is used and the rest of the money goes into a piggy bank for him. Then he also suggested that it's then used, let's say this guy breaks a toilet. He's angry with somebody who breaks the toilet. Then we say, okay, what happened here? If he's guilty, can we use your money to pay for this? You know, so it goes both ways. You are earning because you can help, but then also you have to suddenly take responsibility for things that you are doing, which in the end might then help them to have better behavior and to think twice before breaking, grabbing, whatever. Because those things are a reality, we have to face facts. The proposal was made, they're not really liking this proposal, but we're not going to stop. We're going to continue because now instead of just giving them clay and they have to make something, you know, many of the things goes to waste because they don't really try their utmost best. But now if you can benefit from this, obviously you are going to get better products and they are going to be more eager to develop their own skills without knowing it. They're developing themselves and not making something for us.
Well, I think I will concur with you on a number of things. Although I think in prison, according to the policy, they do not allow that prisoners should have activities that generate income. I think that is being discouraged. However, there are some incentives that you always get. Like I, for one, I'm an artist. I'm a visual artist. I studied in prison. You know, the reason why I started to do visual art, I happened to see guys who were doing brilliant art. And I always had this passion for art, but I grew up in the deep rural area where I've never met an artist, so I then discarded it, only to find, you know, when I was in prison that, you know, I reconnected and started my art, and I also do poetry. Now, there are times where NICRO will have projects where they encourage prisoners that they give them material to do visual art as well as writing poetry. So, and then those poets, then they take them, then they will have, there are some sessions where it will be judged. If your poet is the best, then you get some incentives, you know, they pay you. The very same thing with art. In fact, I think they do that on the regional basis, and also it goes to the national. So if you keep on winning, there's some good incentives that you get, and that money goes to your prison account. Yes, it goes to your prison account. However, I think I stand corrected. I think the policy it doesn't allow that prisoners they should generate money while they are in prison. So the money that could maybe sustain their families.
Can I ask the reason for that? Do anybody know why they? We can look at that basically because not knowing really why they're not allowing it.
Sorry, I know for a fact that it also has got to do with we cannot be in competition with anybody outside. For instance, we have a bakery, so we are not allowed to sell any of the bread that is baked there to the community because there are other bakeries and small bakers outside, and we're going to be competition. So we are taking bread, literally, from the mouths of people that are hard working outside because now we are using the prison labor to earn money. Same with the paintings, those kind of things. As far as I know, this was the whole, in our management area, the problem behind we can't sell.
Yes, but then now comes the exclusion, excluding them from the public again. So that's what we need to address. Maybe think of something niche, some niche, something like, the prisoners make zippers. And zippers is expensive. Think of something, think of something different from the public. Maybe art, whatever. But it needs to be something exclusive to sell to the public and say, okay, we as prisoners sell this product. And therefore, we're not interfering with the public, but it's still, you're getting excluded from
Remember, we spoke earlier about people that are stereotyped. If you have been to prison, you are a prisoner. If you've been whatever. So these policies and whatever, they've been in place for many years. And people are sometimes very scared of change. So it means that we will just have to continue, nagging until something is done. But then, instead of changes coming from the inside of DCS, us doing our utmost best, if other people can also start challenging, not really challenging, let me not use the wrong word, but I'm Afrikaans speaking, so I can use this word, I can debate it later. Just start saying, listen, isn't it possible for us to make a change? It will be better for the economy, it will be better for this, it will be better for their social reintegration, those kind of things. And if we start using those words, maybe they will start getting grip on this idea. I can't think. Yes, sir.
I think one must never underestimate conversation platforms. I mean, that's why we're here today. A group of people came together to share ideas, etc. And I believe that that in itself is an outcome and makes a contribution. We're not necessarily going to change policies between now and T. We're not necessarily going to make a major impact on the policy makers. But we're also here as researchers, and that's today's research class, and sort of to get a sense of what's happening out there, and in our whole, on Unisa side, the theme or title of this initiative is the Inside Out, Outside In, prison groups and prison communities, prison studies. A few ideas. Yesterday, Carien put a flyer together, just to distribute today, and there was one sentence about this initiative that started more or less a year ago. I think it was this time a year ago when we started with an idea. It was a deal, and a group of us somewhere in the room in this corridor. And there was an interest, and we said let's talk. So it all started with talks. Carien came on board. A WhatsApp group started, Facebook started, a website started. But that sentence saying that this group is there to share knowledge. We're not involved with any projects. And I asked her yesterday, is that still true? Because it's a year later, and many of the people are at this stage involved with projects in some or other way. We have already masters and doctorate students in our department who started working on proposals on prison studies. I mentioned earlier we're working towards a symposium, so this is an